Origins of Rachel Summers. Rachel Summers is the daughter of Cyclops and Jean Grey from the alternate Days of Future Past timeline. She was forced to become a mutant hound and track other mutants before escaping to the present. Rachel has immense telekinetic and telepathic powers. Rachel was also a long-time host to the Phoenix Force. Rachel Summers is the daughter of Scott Summers and Jean Grey, Cyclops, and Phoenix, on Earth 811. Her reality diverged from the regular timeline when Senator Robert Kelly was assassinated by the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. In her world, this event caused the mutant-human relations to escalate to the point that an anti-mutant candidate won the next presidential election. He put forth the legislation that brought the giant mutant hunting robots known as the Sentinels. The goal was to eliminate all mutants. The Sentinels adapted and decided the best way to do so was to take over North America. They did not stop with just mutants. Several superpowered humans were also killed or imprisoned. When Rachel was a child, the X-Men's base, Xavier Institute for Higher Learning, was attacked. Rachel was the only survivor. Rendered unconscious due to Xavier's death, Rachel was taken, tortured, and brainwashed by Ahab into using her psionic powers to become a mutant hound with her face tattooed to mark her permanently. As a hound, Rachel was tasked with tracking down and even killing other mutants against her will. After some time, Rachel eventually broke free from her hound programming and assaulted her handler, Ahab. In response, Rachel was sent to a mutant containment facility where she found other surviving X-Men as well as falling in love with Franklin Richards, who returned her feelings. In a plan to end the nightmare that was their world, Rachel used her psionic powers to switch the psyche of the X-Man, Kate Pryde, with that of her younger self. Kate found herself in the body of a young Kitty Pryde who was still new to the X-Men. Together they prevented the assassination of Senator Kelly. Unfortunately, history couldn't be changed. Rather than switching psyches with her younger self, Kate was actually sent into a different reality. Thus, even though the assassination was stopped, the Sentinels still ruled their world and pursued them relentlessly until everyone was killed but Kate and Rachel. Curious over why there was no changes to the timeline, Rachel traveled back in her astral form and was discovered by Phoenix. Impressed, the Phoenix sent a piece of itself along with Rachel back to Rachel's timeline. Upon returning, Kate met with the Phoenix, when Rachel wasn't conscious, and struck a deal. Thus Kate hypnotized Rachel to use her powers to tap into the Phoenix Force when she uttered a certain code word. Eventually, Kate forced Rachel to travel back in time when the two were trapped in the laboratory of Project Nimrod, the next evolution in Sentinels, in attempt to fake Rachel's death. Unfortunately, Rachel was followed by Nimrod and found herself, not in her past, but that of the mainstream reality. With time, Rachel was finally able to come to terms with her situation and found a home with the X-Men of this world. Upon hearing about the death of Jean Grey, Rachel decided to take on the mantle of Phoenix in the hopes of clearing her mother's name after the destruction the Phoenix Force had caused while in the guise of Jean. She locates a crystal with the mental imprint of her mother and relives the most indelible memories of Jean. Through experiencing what a woman her mother was in this time, she feels confident that she can carry on with the good her mother had accomplished before becoming tied with the Phoenix Force. Rachel was a helpful but sometimes unreliable teammate who was driven mostly by her emotions and ghosts of her past. In an early mission, she, Wolverine, Shadowcat, Nightcrawler and Rogue were sent to save Banshee from James Proudstar, who would later be known as Warpath. When given the task to locate Banshee with her telepathic powers, Rachel is unable to come to terms with this use of her power as she spent so much time as a hound in her time. She panics and becomes a liability to the team. Powers and abilities. Rachel is also one of and most probably well-known hosts of the Phoenix Force. Unbeknownst to Rachel, when she traveled to Earth 616, she was also brought a piece of the Phoenix Force with her. Rachel went on several adventures without ever learning that she was a host of the Phoenix or using its power. After discovering that Cyclops Earth 616's analog of her father was about to have a child with Madeline Pryor and that Jean Grey had died in reality, this was Dark Phoenix impersonating Jean. Rachel went to visit her maternal grandparents' home, the parents of Earth 616 Jean Grey. There, she found a Shi'ar holoempathic crystal that contained an imprint of Jean Grey, which prompted Rachel to make a vow to restore Jean's good name and atone for what the Dark Phoenix had done. Rachel not only claimed her code name but started tapping into the Phoenix Force. As Phoenix, Rachel's Psionic powers were expanded as well as her control over them, in addition to being granted several cosmic-level abilities. She found that she could more easily use her telekinesis to sense and manipulate energy and matter on a subatomic level, often rearranging molecules and generating energy blasts. On a cosmic scale, she could manipulate life forces, survive unaided in space, possessed limited cosmic awareness, and presumably could resurrect herself, though she never displayed this power. Other Phoenix avatars have, and this is one of the powers the Phoenix is famous for possessing. While hosting the Phoenix Force, she was able to battle the Beyonder and defeat Galactus. Marvel Girl is an Omega-level telepath, similar to her mother Jean Grey, meaning she has limitless telepathic power. Her telepathy allows her to sense and manipulate thought, allowing for a variety of effects. Most often for Rachel this includes mind communication, mind reading, animal telepathy, mind transferal, mind detection, psychic surgery, cast near-flawless illusions, project her astral form, control the astral plane, create psychic links with other beings, and mind manipulation. Because she was enslaved and forced to become a mutant hunting hound, Rachel's telepathy was honed to sense, locate, and track other mutants based on their thoughts patterns. It's said she was the best hound ever created. Rachel can project blasts of Psionic energy, using them to stun, stupefy, or even kill. She was also taught how to protect and shield her mind from any external psychic attacks. She is able to cast psychic illusions, manipulating the perceptions of others. During an encounter with Emma Frost and a new incarnation of the Hellfire Club, Emma forcibly taught Rachel how to render herself undetectable to the senses, making her effectively invisible. She can also scan or alter somebody's memories without causing any harm, heal, repair any harm caused to somebody's mind, and even suppress somebody's access to his/her superpowers. She can shield her and others' minds from psychic intrusion and project her astral self into the physical or astral planes of existence. In the right circumstances she has been able to swap minds from one body to another, but mostly in conjunction with her chrono-scheming ability. Rachel can also sense residual psychic energy in locations and objects, effectively pulling thoughts from objects instead of minds in order to recreate events in her mind's eye. Most telepaths can do this, but sometimes it is a singular power called psychometry. See Adrian Frost for details. Marvel Girl is an Omega-level telekinetic, meaning she has limitless telekinetic power. Rachel's telekinesis allows her to sense and manipulate matter and energy at varying thresholds. Commonly she uses her telekinesis three ways: offensively firing concussive force blasts or creating telekinetic weapons, axes, swords, warhammers, etc. Defensively creating telekinetic shields, and for transportation flight. By using her telekinesis she can hover or fly at incredible speeds, manipulate matter down to the molecular level, often rearranging the unstable molecules of her costumes to better suit her tastes or the environment, manipulate objects at the macroscopic level, and easily deflect oncoming energy blasts. Chronal abilities: time travel. Rachel has displayed a variety of abilities akin to time travel. She appears to be connected to the time stream, which enables her to sometimes travel physically or metaphysically through different points in time. Rachel has a particular ability called chrono-scheming, allowing her to psionically transplant a person's consciousness and send it through time into a younger or older version of that person, that particular reality's counterpart, into the closest living ancestor descendant, or as a disembodied astral form. Rachel appears to generate a fourth-dimensional pulse which shields her from distortions in the timeline, i.e. changes in reality or time. This, however, has been displayed with varying degrees of effectiveness. During the House of M, Rachel and Psylocke, who was also supposed to be immune to reality warps, were affected and believed themselves to be native to the Scarlet Witch's new reality. Rachel's powers only temporarily protected them and transported them to the White-Hot Room. Also, when Rachel's Mother Ascani timeline was voided, she returned to her younger self and lost most of her memories of that timeline. Skills and abilities. At times, Rachel has been shown to learn new skills extremely quickly, like mastering Shadowcat's fighting style simply by watching her teammate perform it, or learning lockpicking skills from Storm of her timeline, engineering, using and repairing advanced technology and weapons, piloting aircraft. It's unknown if she has some type of photographic memory or just her telepathic abilities helping her to obtain this knowledge. Potential. Despite being an Omega-level mutant, in most recent cases her powers appear less extensive than the abilities she has displayed as the Phoenix. Recent portrayals seem to undercut her natural mutant abilities and force to rely on the Phoenix Force for power, directly contradicting previous instances. Whether or not these are just psychological impediments to Rachel or mistakes in story writers is unclear. However, it has been stated by Xavier himself, during Avengers vs. X-Men, that Rachel has much untapped potential in regards to her power, and after him she's the most powerful telepath on the planet. Following his death, she is currently the most powerful telepath. Nimrod, the ultimate sentinel from Earth 1191, classified Rachel as an Omega-class mutant, probably referring to a not further explained classification based on the threat level, being Alpha an average threat and Omega a severe threat.